Hi guys, welcome back to the Player YouTube channel, and today we've got a BMW Z4, and this is the Z4 30i, not to be mistaken with 3.0i, which would mean 3 litre, because this is actually a 2 litre engine. There are 3 different models in this range. They have 2 2-litre engines, and there's a 3 litre, which is a fabulous car as well. And that's dictated by the 20, the 30 and the 40i insignia on the back. We're going to take a look around this car, we're going to get it out on the road, and we're going to give you some feedback on this £37,000 car. So the new BMW Z4 from the front, it's, well, not completely different, but it is a lot different. You've got this lovely sort of diamond cut, that's how I like to use it, diamond cut grille, split either side there. You've got these super front spoiler on the front here, but the only thing is, and it's a shame, these aren't real, they're just for show. And you've got the front sensors for the parking as well, but we'll talk about that when we get it out on the road. BMW LED lighting system, absolutely fantastic, and you get these really nice 19-inch diamond cut alloys as well, and I really like them too. This vent is real, so it does allow, well, it's not very much, but it does allow the air to come through. Loads and loads of M badges all over the place as well. I love the paintwork on this car. It's got like a fleck in it, it's like a, I don't know, it's sort of sparkly black. It's really nice. And just coming around the back here, the whole shape of the car, it's just really nice and compact. So let's take a look around at the back. Well, I really love these LED tail lights. They're really nice, swooping round there. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is the 30i. So remember, it's not 3 litre i, because that when this car first arrived, I looked at it, oh, I've got the 3 litre version. And then I sadly realised it's the 30, which is the 2 litre version. But still 260 brake horsepower 2 litre engine. It's absolutely stunning. It's a lovely looking car from the back, especially when the roof's down, because the predecessor, the model before this, had a hardtop roof, and that impinged on the size of the boot that you get with this, whereas this one doesn't, because that whole roof folds in there and doesn't affect the actual boot size in here. So when you open up, you'll see there's quite a bit of room in there. You'd easily get a family-sized suitcase in there, possibly a couple of small bags as well. There's no spare wheel on this, well, as you'd expect. I mean, to be honest, inside here there's a little cubby hole, and if you open that, you will find there is a fuse box and a puncture repair kit. But saying that, I mean, you're only going to be really driving this on nice summer days when you're going to be out, and hopefully you're not going to curb a wheel. And if you do, you're just going to have to call the rescue services. There's not much, well, there's a couple of shopping bag holders, and to be honest, that's about it. But it's a lot better than the predecessor, because as I said, the metal roof doesn't come and impinge on the size of your boot. So top marks, BMW, that's great. So, nice little tail fin on here, and it's got a lovely long brake light down. That's just all really nice. I'm loving this car. Let's jump inside and see what it's got to offer when it comes to tech. Let's check out up front in the BMW Z4. Well, first of all, you'll notice these doors are rather long. So what tends to happen if you pull up tight on someone else in a car park, you need to leave a little bit of extra space. Thought I'd mention that before I jump in. BMW have given quite a nice, oh, you can hear how good that seat is. They've given some nice seats in this car. they are fully electronic, so they're ever so nice and easy to set up. I'm going to put the key there for a minute. The steering wheel itself is basically, you know, it's in, out, up and down. It's not electronic, so you can get it roughly where you want it. That's quite nice there. So we'll start with the steering wheel. Why not? On the right hand side here, you have a voice recognition system. It's BMW's own system, very similar to Siri on the Apple phone. There's a telephone system, and then you've got the volume up and down, and you've also got a menu button in the middle there, and all that comes up on the nice digital display, which is up here in the center. The digital display itself is split into two sections. The left hand side is your speedo, and on the right is the rev meter or tachometer, whatever you call it. The tach meter goes backwards. It's quite weird actually, but you can see why they've done it, because it keeps it nice and neat and allows the center part of the screen to be your map and your nav service, which is brilliant. You've also got it on here as well. It's just come up as a welcome. Back to the steering wheel. On this particular steering wheel, we've got a heated button. It's quite thick because this is the sports version. It's just starting to rain, so we'll keep going until it gets to the point where we get soaked sat here. Keyless ignition. Let's get on with it. So keyless ignition, there you go. She starts up. Classic, lovely big infotainment screen. This is touch sensitive, as you can see there, and the wipers are coming on as well. So they're obviously auto, and it's telling me it's raining, a 47% chance. So BMW got it right. And it tells the date as well. It's loads and loads of bits and pieces. I love the nav system on this. Very, very intuitive, really good to use. And it'll even suggest parking spaces where you can park when you arrive at your destination. Incredible. And this car will even park itself if you want it to. Talk about that when we get it out on the road. Lots of piano black here, getting rather wet, but we'll crack on with this. You've got a wireless charger for your iPhone down here. Next to it is a 12 volt, and there's a USB as well. Unfortunately, there's no Android mirroring system on this. It's only iPhone. So if you've got an Android and you want to buy a Z4, throw it out the window and buy a proper phone, an Apple. Here as well, instead of using the touch screen with your finger, you've got a simple dial here that can go round. It does exactly the same. There's up, there's down movement, everything you want. And on the top is a touchpad which you can use to actually write on a letter when you're doing the postcode or something. There are about 5-6 different modes. We'll talk about that when we get it out on the road. There's also a button here which does the roof, and I'm going to activate that now because you'll see what happens. I'm getting wet, and so is the camera and the cameraman. So we'll catch you in a minute when we get out on the road, and then we can talk about all the bits and pieces. Here we are, guys. That little rain shower is gone and we've got the roof down, and oh my God, what a lovely place to be in this BMW Z4. Speaking of roofs, well, one thing I didn't mention, you saw how quick it came up just previously a minute ago. It actually will do that up to 30 miles an hour, and likewise it will come down up to 30 miles an hour as well. So no longer you're going to be pulling over to the side of the road with people ridiculing you, hooting their hooters and going, ha ha, look at you getting wet, because now you can just slow down, hold them all up behind you, put your roof up, and then put your foot down and slowly cruise away, which I absolutely love. BMW Z series, well, this car has been around since the 80s, and when it came out in the 80s, there was a financial boom. The world was seeing record figures, shares were going through the roof, and people had money burning in their pockets. BMW came up with an answer to the middle classes that required something sporty, something rather snazzy, something rather flash, that they could show off to their neighbours, to their friends, and also to go out and get yourself a girlfriend or a boyfriend. The Z1 was launched, and so it became the Z series from BMW. It was there not really to compete with the likes of Porsche or the likes of Ferrari or Aston Martin or Maserati. This was there to fill a gap in those middle classes, to give an option to people who were earning decent money, but they could buy a nice two-seater sports car. In 1995, the Z3 came along, and this was an upgraded version of that Z1, that very first car. And the reason they didn't have a Z2, if you think about it, Z and 2 from a distance could look like ZZ, or it could like 22. So they skipped that and went straight to the Z3. And then in 2002, well, they came up with the Z4, and the Z4 came out with a nice hardtop convertible roof, which in all honesty, was great for the time, and it was probably fashionable, and perhaps people thought it was just a little bit safer having a hardtop convertible. But then, you know, the motor manufacturers realised it took up valuable boot space. It was heavier, made the car heavier, and to be honest, they're not sports cars, not with hardtop roofs. Let's face it, you need that cloth roof. And now you see with this car, where you saw where we went round the back, the saving on that boot space. There's only 200 litres of boot space there. That's easy enough to get a couple of sets of golf clubs and a man bag for the weekend, and away you go. So having that soft top roof has really made a big difference. And I love the shape of this new car. There are 3 models that this car comes in. There's a £36,000 entry-level car, which is the 2 litre, and it's around 194 brake horsepower. It's a turbocharged engine. It's quite a decent engine. If you want to upgrade from that, that is the 20i. That's the entry level. 30i, which this car is the next level up. It's 254 brake horsepower. It's still a 4-cylinder 2 litre engine, but you get bigger rims, get those lovely 19-inch rims. And don't forget, with all German cars, you get these add-on Lux packs and extra packs and all different packs, seat belts and different seats and styling options. Every German car has all those extras. You can buy them, so you don't have to have them. That's the beauty of buying a BMW or a good German car. The top of the range topper is the 40i. Now that is an all singing and all dancing car. That is a 6-cylinder engine developing 334 brake horsepower. And to be honest, I've had so much fun in this 254 brake horsepower engine, I don't think you really need it. But if you want that different sound, you know, slightly more zingy car, if you like, yeah, go for it. It's going to cost you £39,000 plus, and you have to make up your own mind whether you think that's worth it. It's got an 8-speed ZF Auto gearbox. Let's talk about the gearbox. Well, I love the gearbox. It works perfectly. We're in the comfort mode at the moment. It's doing its job. Changes gear, keeps me economy wise. I'm getting about 37, 38 to the gallon, which is on par with exactly what BM said. They said around 37 to 41. So that works nicely. But the minute I put it into sports mode, which is the button above it, it tends to scream. It's running itself ragged right to the top of its upper echelons that it can get to. So I found I've had to put it, well, you should do anyway, when you're in sports mode, put it into the manual and use your paddles, because it just doesn't seem to work that well in the full auto mode. There are 4, or possibly if you include the alternatives, 5 different modes. But to be honest, there's a sport mode, a comfort mode, an eco mode, and an adaptive mode. In the sport mode, you have Sport Plus, and you have an individual setting as well, which you can do on the screen. And also likewise in the economy mode, you have an individual setting as well. So it's got those modes. They're very adaptive, very intuitive as well. You can set it all up. One thing I never quite understood about this car is, funny enough, the cup holders, which are, if I push the button there, they're hidden in here. There's 2 of them, and there is also a USB-C button in there as well for charging your phone. But you have to put that there like that, and that allows you to have driver's armrest, and you can still keep your cups in there, but your passenger has to sit with his arms crossed. Yes, well, am I bothered? No. Am I not bothered? Okay, so we've covered everything pretty much on the Z4. It's a supercar to drive. It's highly responsive. It's pretty much like a GT, to be honest with you. And, you know, I've had this car for 2 weeks, and I think it's just a super car. Would I buy one? Well, that is a big question, isn't it? I think it would definitely go in my top 3 or top 4. And I think for the money, it's a beautiful, comfortable car. It's well built. It's well designed. The luxury level is there for the money. Yeah, I'd definitely consider this. It'll go in my consider list for one of those cars. You've been watching me, AJ the Player. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review of the BMW Z4. And if you do, then give us a big thumbs up or give me a comment. You know I love replying to your comments. And if you really want to see me every week, subscribe. And don't forget, untick the little bell button, because then you'll get notified that I've put up another video for you. We're up to 1 million, well over 1 million views now, 3,500 subscribers. Guys, thank you. Really appreciate it. I'm humbled. Safe motoring. Get out there, enjoy yourself, guys. Catch you next week with another car.